So the other day, I'm just sitting out on the front porch with a little girl, and we're playing with chalk and bubbles. It's probably like 8, 10 maybe. Yeah, it's getting dark a lot later right now. You know, with it being spring and all. So it's light outside, but it's like 8:10, 8:15, and an ice cream truck comes down the street. You know, full blast of this music. I'm just kind of like, what is it doing here? Has all tinted out windows, parks down the street, continues to play its music. I didn't really like look to see where it was parked. I kind of just sat there where I was, and we just kind of kept doing what we're doing. But it you know, crawls past us. I'm just like staring it down. I go inside with her for a second. Like, you know, that's weird as hell. And like, you know, maybe I should call the cops on that shit because that's like suspect.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Hella suspect. Yeah, it did not make me feel comfortable being around here. You know, like I'm sitting on the porch with my daughter in a weird ass like ice cream truck. You know, with like blue like trim, I think, if I'm remembering right. It was white and it had like a design on it that was like faded heavily, and you know, tinted out windows. You know, and
yeah, that sounds like suspicious as shit.
Yeah, it's like 8:10. Yeah, so it's late. First off, yeah, it was still bright out, but it was like starting to be dusk, or it might have been dusk.
Yeah, that's too late.
You know, the only reason I let her outside is because she was wearing pants and a jacket, and I was wearing pants and like a t-shirt, but like it was not warm out. Like it was probably 55, 50.
What the
maybe,
fuck?
Probably not 50. It was probably maybe like 55, 60. But you know, like it's like not cold where you like don't want to be outside, or cold that you even need like a jacket maybe, because it wasn't that windy. But it's still kind of like chilly. You know, it's like
it's
spring weather. You know, like you could be outside during the day, and then the night, the sun's still out, but it's like it's not like a summer night where it's warm. So I just was like, yeah, it was weird as hell, and it reminds me of a creepypasta, where it's basically like the gist of the creepypasta is this guy tells him a story about these clowns in an ice cream truck, and talking about like, you watch this video or something, or like you hear this music, and then once you know that music, like basically you'll hear it at night, and you'll hear it farther away, and then eventually they'll just come closer to you. And then if it's close to you and you see the ice cream truck outside and you actually see the clowns, they basically like try and drive you insane, and eventually they'll actually like attempt to get to you. And it's like a really slow and drawn out process. And like just seeing the ice cream truck with tinted out windows at like 8 o'clock at night, you know.
Yeah, 8 at night. Like, what the fuck? That's so creepy.
I mean, it was still like daylight. So,
yeah, sure.
It would have been a lot more suspect if I'm sitting outside at 11:30 podcasting, or you know, something, or talking on the phone with someone, or you know, I'll just sit out there and drink a beer and you know, listen to my phone, listen to some music, drink a beer, sit out on the porch, and you know, usually dead quiet, and the only thing you'll hear is maybe a gunshot or two.
Gunshot.
Or you hear, you know, people, you know, walking every now and then, or you'll hear cars driving by. And you do hear people arguing, but like usually if people are arguing, I don't go outside in the first place. So
Yeah.
it's the night that I'm sitting outside, it's nice out, and like it's probably pretty chill. So if I am sitting outside and I see an ice cream truck and it's 11:30 and it's playing its music, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Yeah, right. Like, what is he doing out there? Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
clearly he's like, something's off. Cause
yeah. I mean, he sat down there and played the music continuously, and I heard it, like, and I mean, at the bottom of the hill there are more complexes, and it is like an area that's flat, and it's like a roundabout, so you can stop. So maybe he was stopping for kids to come out. I don't know why kids would be outside at 4 when
yeah,
I don't ever see any kids like running around down there. I mean, every once in a while, but like my building is a building that has like a bunch of families in it. I don't know about down there. I'm sure there are families. It's like you know, around here, if you're living in Westwood or Price Hill, probably like have a family. It's a lot of families, or like at least middle-aged people, or it's a
yeah,
lot of families. Whereas you go into like Clifton and downtown, where it's kind of like it's college kids and like millennials that don't have children. Like you're in your 20s or 30s and you don't have kids, you probably live somewhere like OTR because but people that have families, they either live in neighborhoods like Avondale, Price Hill, Westwood, or if you don't live in the city, then you live in the suburbs. There's a lot of families live in the suburbs. You rarely have like young people that just own a house in the suburbs.
yeah,
And where I live, it's not really it's a far cry from the suburbs. Like you're not really living here. Like you're not going out of your way to live here. It's not like a desirable spot. It's not like if you're from a different state, you're not coming to live in Westwood. Like you're not gonna do that. You probably would. This probably be one of the areas people, if you're coming from out of town and somebody that's not from around here, and maybe even someone from around here, is telling you, I wouldn't tell you to. I could tell you places to avoid. I mean, there's really nowhere to avoid. It's a pretty alright city. Now, if you
yeah,
don't have any, if you are from out of town and you're like coming to visit, there are some places I probably tell you to avoid being here, like walking around, because there's no reason for you to do it, because it's not like downtown and over the Rhine are kind of like business districts. You have all the businesses and stores, and like how downtown is. So you'll see a lot of people. So it's walkable, but up here, like it's neighborhood. So there's a lot of houses and there are businesses, and like I've been walking around, these neighborhoods, but I live here, so before I had a car, obviously, I was walking everywhere I need, and I would go out a lot to do stuff, so I was pretty much constantly walking. But someone who, doesn't live here, he gets a picture.
yeah,
But I don't understand what he was doing there. And like I said, this isn't somewhere that you wanted to be stopped unless you have a reason to be here. Like I feel like it's an area that if you're just here waiting for somebody, or you like genuinely are just like maybe you took a cruise and then you decide to just park on a street. This is a street that you would definitely be sketched out to just be parking on.
yeah,
And waiting for, with no real reason, or even just waiting for someone. Like, you'd probably be sketched out like pretty heavy, especially further down the hill, because there's like it's dark as hell down there, and there's not a light except on the buildings, and there's like 4 buildings, 5 buildings. So like yeah, I mean you'd be straight up sketched out more than likely if you're like just pick the place to like sit and just chill for a minute. You'd probably be like, yo, I hope I make it out of this place.
Yeah.
But it's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong. It really is not bad. But it is still weird that an ice cream truck would be sitting down there.
Yeah, that's pretty weird. I feel like the like stopping point for an ice cream truck would be like I don't know, like 6 maybe. Even that's pretty late. Like
Yeah, I mean, I don't hear them very often anyway. You know, like it'd be one thing. We usually have like the, like windows open or something, just like get fresh air in, and I would hear ice cream truck music driving down the street. Especially if it was 8 o'clock every day, like usually 8 o'clock. Especially if it's a weekend, I can't imagine them coming on a weekday. But even on weekends, I'm probably sitting outside, or I'm in the living room where I can see when stuff drives by, and I've not noticed any ice cream trucks. I haven't noticed one since. So to me, it'd be really weird that and I think it happened during all this quarantine stuff. So if they're doing it when it's quarantine stuff, why would they stop?
that's even yeah. That's even weirder though. That it happens now. Like
yeah. I mean, you remember when I told you about it? I would say all this COVID-19 stuff already happened, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I was home, like, because of this stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of I don't really understand it, and it's weird, and it straight up kind of does sketch me out thinking about it. It's like, what were they doing, and why did they sit down there so long? And then, it was probably 20, 30 minutes, and I wanted her to go inside anyway, but I heard the music, like, get louder, so I knew it was driving up, so I popped inside, and, like, so it didn't see me staring at it when it drove back up. And then eventually I heard it just kind of like stop, and it wasn't even like it got that far away. Like I think it went to the top of the street and then stopped its music, which is really weird if you ask me. It played its music that entire time, and then it gets to the top of the street and then stops playing its music. Is that not weird?
Yeah, that's so fucking weird. Like,
I mean, am I the only person that's like, am I just going crazy? The fact that I think that was like the weirdest thing, and I called like 4 or 5 people and was like, "This is hella weird." Like, am I the only person that is like thinking like this is not just out of the ordinary? It's just like downright like, what are they doing? Like, it was bothering me.
Yeah, that would bother me too, probably.
Like I straight up called probably 4 different people and was just telling them about this and being like, this is outrageous. I should have called the police on them. I should have like literally like, I was like, if I see him again, I'll shoot at him. Obviously I won't do that because that's ridiculous. But it was weird and it sketched me out and it was hella suspect, and I can't be the only person that was thinking this is like just straight up weird as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say that's like worth calling the police over. I mean, that is really fucking weird and like out of place. They talk to him and be like, "What the hell are you doing out here?" Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, what exactly do you take away and think from all of that?
I mean, clearly that person is like something's up with them, because I feel like there's no reason for that. I mean, it's the timing. That's what's weird to me. Like, everything else is like whatever, but it's just the fact that he's out there at that time. That's really what like makes me scratch my head.
Yeah, I mean, you can drive wherever you want and go wherever you want, I guess. But when you have music playing and it's like 8:30, 8:10, and you're, probably trying to get everybody calmed down. Everybody's kind of getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah.
Take it easy for the night. Everyone's usually settling in at that time. And then you're going and playing ice cream music and driving down the street. It's kind of like,
Yeah, like what the fuck?
Yeah, just what are you doing here? And also, maybe I felt like it was like my spidey senses signaling like this is not right. It's like the uncanny valley sense, You're like,
yeah,
something's out of place here. And I'm sure it was just the ice cream truck. Maybe that creepypasta kind of creeped me out a little bit when I read it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's possible he could have just been a normal dude, but
I'm sure
still
he was just
pretty
a normal
creepy.
dude. Yeah, but also working at like Sherwin-Williams, weird thing is when you're working on the weekends, and I pretty much ran the store on the weekends. Yeah, you meet all the people that aren't painters, and painters usually are pretty interesting people, to say the least. Yeah. Most half of the painters that'll come in, are doped up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Drunk, something. A bunch of different things. Not to say all of them. But there's a fair amount. But also people that come in to get their paint. You meet a bunch of weird people.
Yeah.
You meet a bunch of normal people too. I guess it's all relative. But I met like 3 separate people that ran ice cream trucks, and like 2 of them were the biggest pieces of shit I've ever met in my entire life. One guy was just like a straight asshole, and the other guy was like just a racist asshole, like piece of shit, just piece of garbage. And he's talking to me, and I'm like, I genuinely fucking hate you, dude. I don't even know you, and I genuinely like have nothing nice to say about you. Yeah. He was just talking to me, and I'm like trying to get his just waiting for his stuff, hoping his stuff gets done soon, so I could get him the fuck away from me. So I already don't trust people that drive ice cream trucks, because most of the people that I've met are like weirdos and assholes, and like you don't even want your kids around them. Like I would never let my kid go to an ice cream truck by themselves.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't either. Like, fuck that.
Because, I mean, even just, like, movies like It, like, people watch stuff like that, and it puts weird thoughts in their head.
Yeah.
Like, if you think about half of the, like, probably a quarter of times that people do, like, horrible, horrible things, they literally, what do they blame it on? Media. They say, well, I watched Halloween and it changed my life or something like that. Like,
yeah. Some of them say shit like that.
Well, most people that do stuff like that don't really have a firm grasp on reality.
Oh,
yeah. They struggle with reality. So when you're given something like that, you see something like that, and you don't really have a good grasp of reality, so you probably are pretty, malleable as far as how you choose to do things. You're probably pretty impressionable. So if you're really impressionable and you watch something like that, you already don't have a good grasp on, life and how things work. And, your natural inclination usually for people like that is probably like violent tendencies and, just not being cognitive of their actions. whether they're not, they're, really capable of being cognitive of their actions. You watch something like that, and you go off and do something, fucked.
Yeah.
I don't know how off base I am with that, but, I don't, study killers and, their motives. But I feel like there's a lot, especially with it, social media being so much stuff, and basically, since 1980, TVs and entertainment, pretty much are in everybody's face all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
So to say that people aren't influenced by it, I think would be an absolute lie. You're definitely influenced by what you consume. Whether it's video games, watching the news, whatever it is that you do, it definitely affects your thinking and affects you. I don't think anyone's arguing that. So
yeah,
if you already are susceptible to bad decisions or a certain way of thinking, you watch something like that, and then all of a sudden you turn into a fucking a guy that dresses up like a clown and drives around in twisted metal trucks. I mean, do you remember? I believe we talked about this, but all the clown sightings that happened around when that first movie came out, before that first movie came out, and then after, that whole It.
Remake, yeah, I don't.
Remake.
Was that around that time? I do remember all those sightings. I didn't know it was around that though.
I think it was a full 6-7 months before anyone even talked about that movie, before they even announced it. And then that movie goes out, and then there was still a steady time of clowns just being places.
Yeah, just walking around at night and shit. It's so weird.
I remember, dude, it literally broke news stories. There was
serious,
it was basically how the coronavirus was. Everybody was talking about clowns being in different places. I think they literally saw them every city, every state, anywhere that people lived. There were just people dressed up as clowns walking around.
Yeah,
doing.
That was so weird.
Yeah, some of them were actively violent and doing stuff, but a lot of them were just kind of walking around, not paying attention to anyone, just acting like it's an everyday thing to dress up like a complete clown.
Yeah, most of them weren't actually dangerous. I don't think, but there was a handful that were.
I mean, if you're walking in the woods and you see somebody just dressed up straight up as a clown, even if they're not menacing, it's just just one of those things that you get.
Creepy as hell.
Yeah, that it's gonna bother you. And I mean, think of all the times people were not recording, and then they're seeing clowns. You live on a street where not a lot of people walk down, and all of a sudden you just see a clown walking down the street, and it's 10:30 at night.
Yeah, that would freak me out big time.
I mean, you could probably imagine, you live outside on just a random side street that, maybe you see 10, 15 people walk down on in an entire day, and then it's 10:30 and you see a clown walk through underneath the the street lights. Yeah, I couldn't imagine if the guy looked over at you.
I know.
Probably, if you're sitting out on the porch or something, you're probably just kind of staring at them hopefully they don't see me. Or you literally go outside.
I would get out of there so fast.
I mean, do you remember? That was a serious thing, and it went on for a while.
Yeah, it did go on for a while. That was a couple months or at least
Yeah, it became an actual thing. I feel altogether it was a year of people just talking about clowns, and then that movie came out, and then that made everything even worse. for the whole situation.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of like, I'm assuming a bunch of like copycats that just saw other people doing it, so they just wanted to do it too, just to freak people out or something, some shit. I don't know.
But it just happened at like you said, it's all about timing and context, and there was no context to it. I didn't hear really anybody talk about it. I didn't hear any single person say that they did it.
Yeah, I didn't either. I just saw people
And
saying that they've seen other people doing it.
yeah, and usually with something like that, somebody that partakes in it, especially like viral challenges like that or just viral things, they'll be like, "Yeah, I did it," and then give the reason why. But nobody said that they did this, and
Yeah, that's true.
all the people that acted that dressed up like that acted, I don't know, just kind of like uncommon and awkward, and just whether you can.
Yeah.
I feel like people acting like they're acting awkward is like so obvious that it's like, okay, well, this is an absolute joke. But you have to like be genuinely a really good actor or genuinely just like awkward and weird. Like,
Yeah.
just come off like that,
I mean, even if you are like a really good actor and you're like completely mentally stable, it's still like, why are you? What is really the benefit from it? Like that you get from doing that? Like, I don't really get it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You basically, if I'm thinking about it, like you'd have to be naturally. It's just like something that I don't know where you begin to start to think about that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like, where would you like? Where? I don't know. Why would you get the thought to be like, oh, I want to be a clown and just walk around at night? Like, what, dude?
Yeah, and I mean, there are some people that legit like live that clown life, like Richie the barber. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's like an internet personality, he's a barber, and he has his face tattooed like a clown. So like, he actually like he's like that all day, every day, And he's genuinely like a happy dude, and just like loves the idea of literal clowning. Just basically making people smile and laugh, and like a positive thing. Walking around at 11:30 in like behind apartment complex where there's woods, wearing clown stuff, or like literally, somebody's backyard, or even just walking down the street or walking in an area that's not well lit, and you're just walking around like a clown, and doing it well, like where it's not obvious. Like, I probably thought about like doing it just as like a joke, but here's the thing: I would have very clearly been you've been able to see through it, see that I'm not one of these people dressing up like a clown, because I probably wouldn't be able to do it all that well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird behavior. Like, I probably couldn't do that. Like,
yeah. So anyone that you said was doing the copycat situation, you could probably instantly tell. You probably didn't even like talk about it because it probably wasn't done that well. So
yeah.
you'd have to either be a really good actor, full on just committing to something. Like, why would you full on put that much effort and put that much, thought and, trying to do something that literally doesn't benefit you at all?
Yeah, exactly. Like, doesn't benefit you at all, and it's so much effort for what? Like,
I don't know. What's your theory on that?
I really don't know, because there can't be that many people that are like, like not not mentally there enough to do that. Like, I feel like there can't be that many people that are like that, but I mean, I guess
or mentally aware and just decide to do it for whatever reason. If you're mentally aware, why would you decide to do that?
Yeah.
And I didn't see many people like recording that were like that. It was just obviously set up, like a straight setup. You know, most of the stuff was straight up organic stuff. People didn't have videos. People had pictures, and like where it's like genuinely just kind of weird and just like, you know, it didn't feel forced. It felt like something that was actually
Yeah.
happening. And I feel like I
Yeah.
did see a clown
You
somewhere
said you feel like you
driving.
saw one?
Yeah, while I was driving.
How long ago was that? Was that around that
Around,
time?
yeah, it was around that time.
That's so creepy.
But also, I just heard a bunch of stories, and I was starting to look into it. And I mean, it was even on the news, and like it was everywhere for like a month, and then it just continued to happen. And I feel like it happened for a while, and then it kind of just
Yeah, it
slowly
was a
died.
while.
Maybe we should look this up.
Yeah, we could.
Clown sightings. It was 2016.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Where reports people disguised as evil clowns in weird settings like forests, schools. They basically were everywhere.
Yeah.
And it said by mid-October 2016, cloud sightings and attacks had been reported in nearly all U.S. states. 9 out of the 13 provinces and territories of Canada and 18 other countries.
That's crazy.
And it said that one of the possible precursor events was 2013 sighting of a creepy clown in Northampton, England.
So that guy was way ahead of the curve.
Yeah, then there was a couple in 2014, a couple in 2015, and all of these were literally just people, you know, being creepy clowns, just being clowns, and just basically appearing at places. And you know, basically just going in places and not doing anything, walking around, and then disappearing and appearing other places at different days. So, especially the first one, basically a guy dressed up as a clown appearing in a bunch of different places. And then it started in 2016, where it just basically went crazy.
Yeah, I guess that's when it was like widespread.
Yeah, it was kind of a weird thing, and even like the thing where basically some places literally stop us, like even actually close to me, the West Milford School District, Ohio School District, Springboro Community Schools issued a blanket ban on all clown costumes, clown masks, and basically a bunch of different stuff. Target pulled all of its clown masks from the websites and stores, and a lot of other places did that. And they even told people like they weren't allowed to dress up as clowns on Halloween and a whole bunch of stuff.
Damn, that's crazy.
But yeah, it seems like there's basically just a bunch of people. I don't know. I don't really understand how it all happened or what happened. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just such odd behavior. Like,
yeah, it's a clear like snowball effect and basically just like
definitely
a
was
viral thing. But why did it happen? And
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's such a weird thing to get popular. If popular is even the word.
And I mean, I think there's still stuff that that is happening. I don't know if there's stuff happening now.
Uh, and
I mean,
I
there's
don't
like movies.
really have
There's like
any.
movies that clown sighting 2020. And there's even articles from 2019 that says invasions of the clowns. All of a sudden, they're everywhere.
2019? What the fuck?
Yeah, is when this article was written.
Huh.
That's a long article, so I'm really not gonna read through it. I don't see any information on sightings. But also, I don't necessarily know if anything like that. But like you look at the stuff like 3 years ago, fear gripped through an Alabama town over not so funny clowns and like a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I'm just thinking back. That was not that long ago, and that was such a weird thing.
Yeah, I
it
wasn't
just
really
blew
fun.
up, and it was just like it's like one of those things where it's just I don't think there's words to describe how weird that is.
Yeah, that's such a weird thing to like blow up. Like out of all things to like blow up, why that? Like that's just so odd.
I mean, did you see any or like anything like that, or can you remember anything specific about that time and what was going on?
I don't remember, like I didn't personally like see any, but I remember hearing that like uh apparently there was like a group of clowns that like I don't know if they had a name or what, but it was a group of clowns that were like threatening to like shoot up schools and stuff like that. They never did it. I'm like 90% sure they never did anything. But I remember they were threatening to like shoot up places, and they were like walking around schools, and some of these schools were near where I lived too, like near the school I was at the time too. So that was pretty scary actually. Like people
Yeah,
were
it's just
seeing
so
them,
weird.
like, and they were like, "Oh, are they actually gonna do something?" They didn't do anything, but it was like it was still scary at the time. You didn't know if they were gonna do anything or not.
I'd say that's very scary, man.
Yeah, scary as shit.
Especially because there's like no conceivable reason as to why you'd want to do that. So
Yeah.
I feel like it's to the point where you couldn't even imagine why like this is going on. So like, what's the
Yeah.
deal?
like we said before, like what is the benefit? Like I just don't get it.
Yeah. So I mean, that is one of the first things that popped in my head when I saw that thing was clowns, and you know, thinking back to that whole incident, and it's like, it's weird. I mean, let me paint a picture. So you, outside your house, there's street lights, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you go out, you look out your window, you go on your porch, you're in your, you know, the room that's facing the street, and you look out the window, and you just see a clown with a balloon, just kind of like standing, staring off in the distance. It doesn't even have to be at your house, just staring somewhere. Not, they don't have to have a balloon even, but you just see a clown like underneath the street light, just kind of standing there, or even sitting there. What are you gonna think? You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I would literally be like, I don't want to say I'd be terrified, but I'd be like really freaked out for sure. Like, why are you cause I don't know, it's the fear. It's first of all, it's a fear of clowns. That's a pretty common fear of clowns. A lot of people don't like clowns, and also a fear of like just like crazy people, I guess. And those two, it's kind of both of those at once. So it's like that's really creepy to almost anyone.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. So, I mean, I don't know. That whole situation is just so. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, it's so creepy. Alright, guys, this was the lab. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.